And a good spiritual morning to you once again. Thanks for joining us today for a quick chat. And of course, our morning cup of coffee.
Christ is risen, Father.
Trying to take a sip. Truly, he is risen. You're supposed to let me take a sip. Christos Anesti.
We're going to be doing that for a couple
Christos
more weeks.
Anesti.
Alithos Anesti. I just did it. I didn't pay attention. Go ahead and
Gotcha.
say, you don't pay attention
Gotcha.
a lot of the time.
Thank God. Who wants to pay attention to me?
To you.
No one wants to listen to me.
You talk a lot.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anyway.
Let's pretend that didn't. No, it's fine. So we
Let's-
thought we should talk about something ahead, like for once or twice, because this coming Sunday is...
Yay, it's Mother's Day.
It's Mother's Day.
Yay.
Happy Mother's Day
Thank
in
you.
advance.
Thank you. And to all the moms out
Yes,
there,
barely a mother.
God bless you.
6 times.
I look like a grandmother.
Yes, there you go.
there
Mother
go.
of 6. Aren't they talking about giving you some sort of award if you've had 6 kids? Didn't I hear about something like that in the news? Wasn't?
Oh, we did laugh about that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But, I don't know what that means.
I'll take cash.
Yeah, right. You get cash. $20. Anyway,
There's so much to talk about motherhood.
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
we really.
just generally, I
Okay.
think it's important, and so this is great because now I've always done these Mother's Day videos, and people are like, what are you
Oh,
talking
you're right.
about?
This is your first one with me.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
nice to have an actual mother
Yeah.
of 6 on
I'm
the show to
outstaying
do
my
this.
We're staying.
What? I do. That's what I do professionally. I overstay my welcome. No, I think that motherhood is a little bit under attack. And by a little, I mean a lot. In our, not you personally, but in our society, I feel like
In the
motherhood.
world. Yeah,
Well, I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like we used to be able to take certain things for granted. I feel like we used to be able to tell young girls, you know, that someday they'd fall in love, and someday they would get married, and someday they would have kids.
Yeah, have a family.
And that was like, well, you don't
have to say it,
everyone knows
Father.
that.
It's understood.
But now I feel like, no, all of that's optional. It's like, well,
Yeah.
you need to provide for yourself. You need to pursue a career.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that you're fulfilled professionally.
Yeah.
And then if along that journey you meet your soulmate, you know, then fine. Then you at least you have someone in you. And then if for whatever reason you feel like you want to express your love, you know, officially, then you can get married. And then you can still be married and pursue your career. And then if at some point you feel like you want to have a kid, then you can. It's all now become secondary.
Yeah.
You know, it's become optional and secondary. And I feel like it's so important when I'm saying motherhood,
Yeah.
having mothers in the life of the church. And I'm talking about it from a church perspective, from spiritual
Obviously, yeah.
formation
Oh, okay.
perspective is so absolutely important and helpful for our kids' spiritual formation that when motherhood is under attack, I feel in many ways the church is under attack.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's something that, you know, so we do have to talk about it. And maybe we do have to start talking about it with our young women, with our young girls, with everybody.
Yeah.
Teaching young boys too, you know, what it means.
Well, I think,
But
like you
everything.
said, it's kind of become a side note. And if you want to have a family, and if you decide that you and your spouse want to have kids,
Well, we've gone so off the
Instead of
deep
saying
end. To be
that,
honest, I'm
yeah.
just confessing this
You can say
in
it.
real time.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about any of this in advance.
Yeah.
In real time, I'm feeling a little bit self-conscious, speaking specifically to young girls and young women.
why?
Well, because you're not supposed to differentiate with gender.
Oh, wow, you're going there.
Well, I mean, that's where we're at in society. That's where we have come to.
So if we
in our
don't
society.
give that,
Stop ending sentences with prepositions. That's where that is the place to which we have arrived. Is that how you say that? I don't know. But the point is, yeah, it's uncomfortable to even have that conversation. We feel like, well, you don't talk to young girls about motherhood, you know, but you can tell them to have a career, and you can tell them that marriage is optional, and you can tell them that having kids is optional. But if you tell them that they're going to find the most fulfillment in their life that they're going to find as a person in motherhood, oh my gosh, you're some sort of a patriarchal misogynist.
yeah. And the
You
other
know.
thing I'm seeing that really it hurts my heart is, you know, I watch too much TV or I watch too many movies.
That'll do it.
I'm just
That'll
going to
hurt
put
your
it
heart.
out there that I'm tired of the new storyline where a woman says, you know what, I'm going to get somebody to help me. I'm going to get somebody to donate because I really want a kid. like motherhood, I feel is a package deal. I feel like it's
Right.
ordained by the church that marriage is sacred. And within marriage, the natural consequence of marriage can be children. And I feel like we got to stop learning our habits from the screens, because
Oh,
the
I see
screens
what
are
you're
going to
saying.
tell you,
The bad examples of people.
yeah, because you've got wonderful people who are watching these shows that are saying, wow, this is a very successful person, but she knows that she's missing something, but she doesn't have time for the relationship. So, but I really want a kid. And then
Oh, I
I'm
see
going to
what you're
get the
saying.
kid. And by the way, but then I'm going to put the kid with somebody else for 8 hours a day because I'm very
Well,
good.
it's-
Like there's a lot of mixed messages out there
It's-
that are fogging up.
It is. I just would speak to this from the outside point of view, because
Okay.
obviously I'm not a mother, and you can speak to it more. It seems really hard. Looking from the outside in, what you do seems really hard. So I can kind of understand people that have the resources just kind of chucking money at it and saying, you know what, I'm doing okay in my career, and I don't want to deal with that. So I understand what you're saying. They don't want to ruin their bodies somehow. So they...
Oh, I didn't even go there.
I know.
Oh,
That's happening
a whole
too.
other topic. Yeah.
That's happening too.
Yeah.
But it's
Movie
also,
stars,
I
yeah.
also don't want to have to deal with that. You know, this is the other thing that I get really upset in shows where it's being portrayed in a negative light. And this is what I'm saying is the attack.
Okay.
The whole wife or the mom, the new mom saying to the dad, you get to go back to work. You get to have adult conversations. You get to do all this. You get to have a career. You get to do this. And I'm stuck changing diapers. I'm stuck. You're
Cleaning up.
stuck raising your kids. You're stuck teaching your kids how to be everything that you want them to be. And part of that is good Orthodox Christians. That's where I'm saying the spiritual formation is. No one should feel like I'm relegated to the position of a mother.
Oh, I see.
I'm put down because that's what I'm saying. We're supposed to be buttressing it. We're supposed to be lifting it up and say, no, you get to do that.
What a
And any guy would say that. Any guy would say, wait, no, I don't get to go do the junk that I've got to do. I have to go do it. You get to stay home and raise the kids. Now, again, we're stereotyping.
Yeah, we're
Because
bantering.
It doesn't really matter who, if there are guys that are staying home and raising the kids, that happens. The economics are as such.
Yes.
That you have to
Yes.
have both people working.
Yes.
But still, the mom and this is something I can tell you as a father of 6. The mom has a relationship with those kids that I'll never have. I have a different relationship. I didn't carry them. I didn't give birth to them. I didn't nurse them. There's certain things I
it's
just
different.
didn't do. It's not the same relationship. And that relationship shouldn't be lowered. That whole construct shouldn't be oppressed and said, well, this is a way that we're oppressing. Marriage is an institution that oppresses women.
Stop listening to those people.
And motherhood is the same thing. Well, now you're stuck.
Yeah.
And now you can't pursue your career. Look, you can do both, is what we're saying. And also, how many people really have a career?
Oh, you're going to do that.
I'm sorry, guys or girls. Let's be honest. We have jobs. How many people really have? I've got to pursue my career, as if being a mom makes you're not going to make 7 figures this year. Who's making 7 figures? I mean, let's be honest. You got a job, and
I was
it's a
really
blessing.
yeah.
It's a positive thing.
I have to be honest. I was really blessed. Our youngest found an old videotape, a video camera, and I hadn't seen it in a long time. It was in a box. And I took it out and it had an old tape in it, and I had no way to play the tape.
Before smartphones, when we had cameras.
Yeah. So I sent it away, long story short, and I got the digital back. And it brought me to tears because we all got to see videos from, I think it was about 18, 19 years ago. Mm-hmm. And I remember the gentle struggle that I was going through. And I looked back at it very fondly.
That's a sweet way of phrasing it. Gentle struggle.
It's not easy. And like you said, we had the 4 boys were young all at the same time. And there were days, and that's why people ask me now, somebody will say something to me and I'll say, just put your hair in a ponytail, wear your pajamas, and try to get through the day. And I don't mean that try to get through the day. I'm hoping that you're loving every minute of it. But my point is that it is a struggle, but it's a blessing. And if that's going to be a cross I carry, that's a beautiful cross that I carry by saying, you know what, I'm not going to get to maybe do this that I used to do for a season of my life. It's just a season. But man, there was such beauty in it. And I really, it was a beautiful video to find. I was very happy to see that. But to your point, I think that if we can encourage and support the role of motherhood, because you see it, and now that our kids are getting older, we're seeing different things. There's nothing like it in the way that, and God gave us our children. I'm going to go Orthodox on us now. God gave us our children, and we're trying to give them back to Him. We're trying to give them faith and love and stability.
That's our job.
That's our job.
Parents.
That's the job. Yeah. And in that comes, like I said, sweat and tears, and you might be up at night. There's such beauty in it. And I hope that I can encourage our daughters who are younger to know that that's a huge blessing and part of their life. It's lovely.
Well, and to finish maybe on a spiritual point, because you mentioned it being a cross.
Yeah.
And I think that, again, I've talked about this repeatedly. People don't like crosses.
Right.
Crosses are something that we're given as, a struggle, but end up bringing us closer to Christ. And motherhood, I think, is marriage is a cross in and of itself. I mean, you take up, you become part of a self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
You're sacrificing for the other person.
Yep.
Motherhood is kind of an extension of that, taken now to another degree. It is a blessing in the spiritual life because it's one of the ultimate examples of self-sacrifice. Because once you have that child, you stop living for yourself.
Yeah.
Your
heart is outside of your body.
Your heart is now, you now have to take care of another human being, take care of another life. And that's an amazing extension of that self-sacrifice. And there's a blessing in every sacrifice that we make. Because it's a cross that you're taking on now. It's a blessing to sort of say, it's like, I can be given a cross, I can be given a struggle that a challenge that I have to meet. But also, one of the reasons we fast, we take up our own cross. Right? Christ says, do you follow me or do you love me? Take up your own cross, deny yourself, come after me. And I think motherhood is a great example of that. It's taking up a cross and saying, okay, now I'm going to stop living for myself, and now I'm going to be living for this other person. And yeah, there's parts of it that are more intense when they're younger, but we know now, having older kids or kids that are getting older,
other intense parts,
it only gets worse. It only gets harder. We want to go back to those 3 a.m. feedings because that's nothing compared to what they're dealing with in their mid-20s. It's kind of like, okay, it never goes away is my point. Right. There's always a sacrifice and a self-sacrifice.
But I don't want people to think we're calling children burdens or crosses. But as an Orthodox
I was doing
Christian,
that. Absolutely. No,
as an Orthodox Christian, you may understand that. The blessing is that, like you said, that's a huge thing, is that you now are living for someone else. And we want to be selfish. We want to sleep when we want to sleep. We want to do what we want to do.
Right.
And you'll hear that sometimes too in shows when they mock and say, "Oh, I don't have kids, so I can go do whatever I want right now." Like it's comical, but I like that you're building up motherhood and parenthood and families, because I'm finding now in my life that my children are bringing me closer to prayer. They're bringing me closer to God.
Nothing will make you pray like
They're
kids.
making me pray. Nothing will make you pray like having
That's
a child.
Right. People say, "Father, how do I learn to pray?" Don't you have kids? Kids will make you pray. That's
Talk
for sure.
to God all the time.
And we don't mean to. I'm hearing you say something about live for another person. It doesn't mean that you get lost in that.
No.
It doesn't mean that you lose yourself in that. You still have to take care of yourself in order to take care of another. But the emphasis now, I'm now not swimming in my own narcissism. Yeah. It's now not all about me. No, now it becomes there's somebody else that it's, first in marriage.
Family.
In marriage, there's somebody else that you're putting ahead of yourself. And now when you have kids, there's a bunch of people, that I get to now have 7 blessings that I had to put ahead of my wife and my 6 kids. Now there's 7 people. And don't get me started on putting spiritual children ahead of yourself, because then there's hundreds and hundreds of them. But at least now it's like, okay, I can live not swimming in my own problems and in my own selfishness and narcissism. I can think about others and live for others. And that's, I think, what motherhood is all about. And so we should be celebrating that.
Hug your mom this week.
Call your mom.
Call your mom.
Don't text mom.
No, she wants to hear your voice.
Call your mom. Go see your mom. Hug your mom.
No matter how old she is.
Tell her you love her.
Yeah.
Because you're a pretty big cross that she took.
That's what I was getting away from.
There you go. No, I'm just kidding. But we should be celebrating that, because it is a sacrifice. It's a beautiful blessing. It's a, what did you call it? A gentle
Gentle struggle.
gentle struggle that, we're encouraging everyone to take on and to celebrate that. And not just on Sunday, but we should be celebrating that all year long,
Thank
each and
you.
every day.
Amen.